seen the ads. Save up to 80% on your electricity bill. Pay for itself in 2 years. Generate free power forever. And you want to believe it, but you've also been burned by promises before.
Today, we're going to do the actual math. Not the best-case scenario marketing math, the real math. The kind that tells you what your specific system, in your specific location, on your specific utility rate, will actually save you.
By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly how to calculate your own payback period, your annual savings, and your total lifetime return before you spend a single dollar. Welcome to Plug-in Solar Explained. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Mike from PluginSolarUS.com. This is the simple way to understand plug-in solar, home energy, and the policies shaping America's next consumer energy movement.
Today is all about numbers, specifically your numbers. We're going to walk through the complete savings calculation step by step. Electricity rates, system production, self-consumption, payback period, and lifetime return. Mike, where does the savings calculation actually start?
It starts with one number, your electricity rate. Specifically, how much you pay per kilowatt hour of electricity. This is the single most important variable in the entire calculation. Everything else, system size, production estimates, payback period, is secondary to this number.
How do I find it?
Pull out your most recent utility bill. Look for a line that says energy charge or electricity rate or cost per kWh. It's usually expressed in cents per kilowatt hour. The national average in 2026 is around 17 cents per kilowatt hour, but that average hides enormous variation. Ohio is around 14 cents. Texas is around 13 cents, but California averages 30 cents or more. Connecticut is around 30 cents, Massachusetts is around 28 cents, Hawaii is over 40 cents. If you live in a high-rate state, plug-in solar is dramatically more valuable than if you live in a low-rate state.
What if I'm on a time-of-use plan? My rate changes depending on what time of day I use electricity.
Then you need to find your peak rate, the rate you pay during the most expensive hours of the day. In California, that's typically 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. In Connecticut, it varies by utility. Your peak rate is the number that matters most for calculating the value of a battery-equipped plug-in solar system, because the battery lets you avoid buying electricity at that peak rate. If your peak rate is 50 cents per kilowatt hour, every kilowatt hour your battery displaces during peak hours is worth 50 cents, not 17 cents.
Once I know my electricity rate, what's the next step?
Estimate how much power your system will actually produce in your location. Solar production varies significantly by geography. A 1,200-watt system in Phoenix, Arizona will produce significantly more power per year than the same system in Seattle, Washington. The key variable is peak sun hours, the average number of hours per day when sunlight is strong enough for your panels to produce at their rated capacity.
How do I find that for my specific location?
The easiest way is to use the free savings calculator at PluginSolarUS.com. You enter your zip code, your system size, and your electricity rate, and it calculates your estimated annual production and savings automatically. It uses real solar irradiance data for your specific location, so the estimates are grounded in actual conditions, not a generic national average.
What are some rough benchmarks by region?
As a general rule, a 1,200-watt system produces roughly 1,200 to 1,500 kilowatt hours per year in the Sun Belt, states like Arizona, Texas, and Florida. In the Northeast, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, it's more like 1,200 to 1,400 kilowatt hours. In the Pacific Northwest, it drops to 900 to 1,100. These are rough estimates. Your actual production depends on your specific location, panel orientation, and how many hours of unobstructed sun your setup gets. Use the calculator for your specific numbers.
So I have my electricity rate and my estimated production. What's the next variable?
Self-consumption rate. This is the percentage of the power your system generates that you actually use yourself, rather than sending back to the grid. And this is where a lot of people's savings calculations go wrong.
What do you mean?
If you have a system without a battery and you're at work during the day when your panels are producing, most of that power flows backward through your meter to the grid. Unless you have a net metering agreement, which plug-in systems almost never have, the utility keeps it. You generated electricity and gave it away for free. Your self-consumption rate might be 30% or 40%, which means 60% to 70% of your production is wasted.
And with a battery?
With a battery, your self-consumption rate goes to near 100%. The battery stores everything your panels generate during the day and releases it when you need it, in the evening, when you're home, when electricity is most expensive. Every kilowatt hour your panels generate becomes a kilowatt hour you don't have to buy from the utility. That's the difference between a system that barely moves your bill and one that genuinely transforms it.
And if I'm on a time of use plan, the battery's even more valuable.
Dramatically more valuable, because you're not just avoiding waste, you're specifically timing your battery discharge to coincide with the most expensive electricity of the day. Instead of offsetting electricity at your average rate of 20 cents, you're offsetting electricity at your peak rate of 50 cents. The same kilowatt hour is worth 2.5 times as much.
Let's do the full math. Give us 2 examples, a low-rate state and a high-rate state.
Example 1, a homeowner in Ohio. Electricity rate, 14 cents per kilowatt hour, flat rate. 1,200-watt system. Estimated production for Columbus, Ohio, about 1,500 kilowatt hours per year. With a battery and 100% self-consumption, annual savings equal 1,500 times 14 cents, which is $210 per year. System cost, $2,000. Payback period, about 9.5 years.
That's not terrible, but it's not exciting either.
Now, example 2, a renter in Connecticut. Electricity rate, 30 cents per kilowatt hour average with peak rates above 40 cents. Same 1,200-watt system. Estimated production for Hartford, Connecticut, about 1,400 kilowatt hours per year. With a battery optimized for peak time of use, let's say the effective rate is 35 cents. Annual savings, 1,400 times 35 cents equals $490 per year. System cost, $2,000. Payback period, about 4 years.
Same system, same cost, but more than twice the annual savings just because of the electricity rate.
That's the single most important variable in the entire calculation. Your electricity rate determines everything. The higher your rate, the faster your payback, and the more money you save over the life of the system. That's why plug-in solar is such a compelling option in states like California, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Hawaii, where electricity is expensive and the sun is reasonably good.
Let's talk about what happens after the system pays for itself. Because I think people focus so much on the payback period that they forget what comes after.
After payback, every kilowatt hour the system generates is savings you wouldn't otherwise have. How long that continues depends entirely on the system you bought. A foldable panel system with a 5 to 10 year warranty may have a shorter useful life. A rigid monocrystalline panel system with a 20 to 25 year warranty can keep generating savings for much longer. The key is to match your expectations to the system you actually purchased.
So the total lifetime value really depends on the panel type.
Exactly. Let's go back to our Connecticut example. The system pays for itself in 4 years. If it uses rigid panels with a 20-year lifespan, that's potentially 16 more years of savings at $490 a year, well over $7,000 in total return on a $2,000 investment. If it uses foldable panels with a 10-year lifespan, that's still 6 more years of savings after payback, which is a solid return. Neither scenario is a bad outcome. Just go in with realistic expectations about the system you're buying. And remember, electricity rates have risen an average of 3% to 4% per year over the last decade. So your savings tend to grow over time, not shrink.
And the system is portable, so if you move, you take those savings with you.
Exactly. That's one of the most underappreciated aspects of plug-in solar. A traditional rooftop system stays with the house. A plug-in system moves with you. Every time you move to a new apartment or a new home, you bring your savings engine with you. The investment doesn't reset to zero.
What's the bottom line for calculating savings?
1. Find your actual electricity rate on your bill. If you're on a time of use plan, find your peak rate. That's the number that matters most. 2. Use the free savings calculator at pluginsolarus.com to estimate how much power your system will produce in your specific location and what your annual savings will look like. Don't guess. 3. Add a battery to push your self-consumption rate to near 100% and maximize the financial return on every watt your panels generate. 4. The national average payback period for a plug-in system with a battery is 5 to 7 years. But in high-rate states like California, Connecticut, or Massachusetts, it can be 3 to 4 years.
Don't try to do all this math in your head. We've built an interactive savings calculator at pluginsolarus.com. You plug in your zip code and your utility rate, and it does the math for you.
Thanks for listening to Plug In Solar Explained, the simple way to understand plug-in solar, home energy, and the policies shaping America's next consumer energy movement. Plug-in Solar US is an educational resource. Rules, codes, utility requirements, and product certifications can change, so always check current local requirements and use properly certified products.